Hey guys, any idea what all these strands might be? It's poop. Insects have a defensive strategy called fecal defense, or fecal shield, in scientific terms. Let's explore the weird and wonderful world of insect poop defense. Looking closely, what do you see inside this straw? That's right, that right there is the larva of the Florida tortoise beetle. This beetle larva is one of the few insects who can wield the potent fecal shield defense. As soon as the larva emerges from the egg, it begins gnawing on palm leaves. About 40 minutes later, the larva begins to excrete a straw-like strand of dung out of its anus. Non-stop for the next 12 hours, they continue to let it out, turning their backsides around and around until they have a veritable dung bunker. Although, the beetle larva doesn't do it all in one go like a spider, instead letting out lengths of fecal matter that attach to its anal forks, like this. Inside the dung bunker, the little larva molts and grows, expanding the bunker to match. Looking at the anal forks on this larva, you can see that, despite molting, the strands remain attached like this, creating 4 layers of poopy protection. This is how these dung bunkers can continue to grow without collapsing. What's even more surprising is that according to a study done by Dr. Thomas Eisbacher in the year 2000, if you damage part of the fecal bunker like this, the larva will try to repair the damage within 24 hours. Now, why do you think this larva is this serious about building its bunker of dung? Yep, it's all about protection. Dr. Thomas Eisner conducted an experiment involving 2 carnivorous insects. When deep in their dung bunker, the larvae were virtually invisible to the insects. But take that bunker away, and the larvae were gobbled up lickety-split. This led Dr. Eisner to conclude that while the dung bunkers may serve as a physical barrier, they likely also contained chemicals repulsive to predators. However, every defense, no matter how potent, has its weaknesses. The dung bunkers happens to be a beetle called Callida vertipennis. Observations of this beetle interacting with the Florida tortoise beetle larva reveal the beetle pushing through the sturdy dung bunker and eating the larva inside. It leaves the anal forks untouched though. Apparently, even these beetles don't want to go that far. Okay, now that we know this defensive strategy works, why don't we look at another example of its prowess? Our second group of poop shield wielders are part of the leafhopper caterpillar family. That stuff they're carrying on their backs is their own poop, held in place by an anal fork. Slowing things down to a quarter speed, do you see the caterpillar beefing up its shield with more dung? These guys have the advantage of being able to move their poop around, unlike the tortoiseshell beetles we talked about earlier. Embellished as their dung is with toxins like tannins, alkaloids, and saponins from the plants they eat, ants and other predator beetles rarely come near these caterpillars. If they do though, the caterpillar brandishes its dung shield to ward off predators. Still, as we'll see in a moment, these guys have it good, carrying their poop on their backs and all. Podontia quatuor decimpunctata from India goes so far as to smear poop all over its body. If I were a predator, I wouldn't even give this a second glance. Even with all that poop, some predators found a way to get at that little bug by sticking a straw of some sort through the dung and sucking out the caterpillar's bodily fluids. Life finds a way. Anyway, let's leave this messy business behind and go meet an insect with a bit more tact. The caterpillar of Epargyreus clarus defends itself by propelling its poop at high velocities. Let me explain. This caterpillar uses silk to weave leaves into a nest and hides its body inside. But just like with a litter box, if the caterpillar leaves its nest for too long, the built-up feces will alert the caterpillar's position to its natural enemy, the hornet species. So, how did the caterpillar work around this to conceal its location? During defecation, the caterpillar builds up a tremendous amount of pressure, then blasts the dung away as far away as possible, concealing its location from predators. You might think, how far could a caterpillar possibly launch its own feces? And in 2003, Professor Weiss of Georgetown University found the answer. This caterpillar can launch its dung at 1.3 meters per second, blasting its feces as far away as 153 centimeters. That's a distance 38 times its own body length. In human terms, that's a whopping 70 meters. Quite the dung cannon, huh? Finally, there are those fecal shield devotees that try to become the dung. These are the bird-dropping spiders. Some species actually disguise their webs as bird poop, while others disguise themselves as bird poop by wrapping webs around their legs and body. Their bird poop camouflage allows them to avoid predators like wasps, and these spiders actually smell like bird poop, drawing in prey like flies and other insects to their demise. The strategies these insects employ to survive can be both gross and amazing. Truly gross and amazing. Science is a window to the world, and this has been Science Dream. Thank you. Okay, that's a wrap.